In Avengers Age of Ultron, Steve Rogers is able to lift Thor's hammer just a smidge, but he never actually picked it up, and it's been driving me crazy. What's up, everybody? My name is Joshua Yale, and I want to discuss the possibility that Cap might finally pull off this miraculous feat in Avengers Endgame. And yes, I know the hammer is broken, that's part of the theory. Just give me a second and I'll get to it. The premise of this theory is based on the storytelling rule called Chekhovs Gun. You may have heard of it. It says if a gun shows up in a story, then it should eventually be used, otherwise it shouldn't be in there at all. Which means if you set something up, either pay it off or cut it out. So given that we're talking about Cap and Mjolnir, let's call this a case of Chekhov's hammer. We got the tease that Cap might be able to lift the hammer, but where was the payoff? Let's analyze the scene in question. On a functional level, the whole hammer lifting scene was in Age of Ultron to remind the audience how Mjolnir works so they'd understand the importance of Vision lifting it later in the film. He's a good, trustworthy robot. You could argue that Cap's little sign of worthiness was just in there as a joke, but I say it's too significant to use just as a comedic beat, even for Marvel. After all, if there's no payoff for a moment, then it has no business being in the story, or so the rule says. But given that the MCU is one big story told over many movies, we often see things set up in one film
next time, baby,
that get paid off in another. Perhaps Cap lifting Mjolnir was never meant to happen in Age of Ultron. Perhaps we'll finally see it in Endgame. You may be asking, what's the big deal with Cap lifting the hammer? Are you obsessed with Chris Evans? Are his biceps always on your mind and you just want to be held by them once? The answer to all those is yes. But back to my point, Captain America is one of the few comics characters worthy enough to wield Mjolnir, a stunning achievement he only pulls off in great times of need. Cap accomplishing this unthinkable feat is more than just a superhero getting to use a cool weapon. It's an affirmation of this weary soldier's bravery and pure-heartedness. It's a momentary reward, a literal gift from the gods for living his life as a shining beacon of morality. That's why the little tease in Age of Ultron got comic readers so excited, and that is why we're dying to see him actually do it on the big screen. However, there's of course one major problem. In Thor Ragnarok, Hela crushed Mjolnir into bits. See, I set it up and now I'm paying it off. Chekhov would be proud. But the going theory for the plot of Avengers Endgame is that it involves the heroes using the quantum realm's time vortexes to travel through time in an attempt to undo Thanos' snap. What if, along the way, someone changes the timeline so Thor's hammer is never destroyed by Hela? Or what if they go back to grab the hammer from a point in time when it was still intact? It may sound unlikely, but crazier things have happened in the MCU. Now, Thor already has Stormbreaker, which is objectively a better weapon, so why would he even bother getting Mjolnir back? The best reason I can come up with, because I really need this to happen, is the heroes decide to use their jaunt through time to gather as many powerful weapons as possible to combat Thanos. And as far as powerful weapons go, Mjolnir is pretty close to the top of the list. Besides, Stormbreaker was never enchanted by Odin to only be lifted by the worthy, so it wouldn't be as cool to see Cap use that thing. But it'd be the badass moment to end all badass moments to see Thor with Stormbreaker and Cap with Mjolnir fighting back to back during the final brawl in Endgame. That would be one heck of a payoff to a setup years in the making. Not to mention, Chris Evans is all but confirmed to be exiting the role of Captain America, so if Cap doesn't lift Mjolnir in Endgame, then he likely never will. So do you want to see Cap finally lift Thor's hammer? Will your life also be incomplete if it doesn't happen? Let me know in the comments. And for more Marvel, check out our breakdown of the new clip that shows the Avengers' plan to save the Dusted in Endgame, and who I think Angelina Jolie will be playing in Marvel's Eternals movie. And for more stuff from me, hey, why not? Be sure to follow and subscribe to IGN.